So back in the day when I was like super ultra spiritual, I used to see this meme and thought it was so profound, you guys. I thought that this meme was one of those really super ultra spiritual memes that kind of confirmed to me, wow, what I believe is so profound and spiritual, and this exemplifies why. To be honest, I'm kind of behind the times when it comes to this kind of meme, but I actually had a friend share it with me the other day, and they asked me, what's wrong with this meme? What's the fallacy with it? I know there's something wrong, but what is it? And it got me to think. And I had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun discussing this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a video out of this. Because why not? I used to believe in subjective reality. I used to believe that everybody could just pick and choose their own proof, and things like this just further solidified my position. The meme in question is of two people looking at the number 9 or number 6 on the ground. One person from one perspective sees a 9, and one person from the other perspective sees a 6. And the argument given is that just because you are right does not mean I am wrong. And I'm going to try to use 100% of my brain right now to tell you why that whole argument is wrong. I remember the actual first time I saw this meme was when I had a brilliant philosophy professor present it to us. I'm not that old. I am 30 years old. But it was at a time when you couldn't just bring up something on the internet. Let's just put it that way. Which actually, you guys, was not that long ago. Okay? He didn't have this exact image on here, but the argument he did. He wrote two people on the board. He drew it in little stick figures, and then he drew the image in the middle. All right? That's how he did that before they had like smart boards and fancy things like that. And this is what he was asking us. He wanted us to think about it. He was asking us to critically think about what this was saying. I didn't then, but I am now. And I would like to present to you this argument. Here's the problem with this meme. First, memes like this completely disregard the whole idea of the intent of the person who even made that number. They either wrote a 6 or a 9, but they could not have written both. And we do this in all areas of our life. We don't just do this with like memes. We do this with people. We do this in everyday life, whether it's a spiritual argument we're in, whether it's a political argument. We take a subjective view without considering the reality of the situation. So in this particular meme, instead of somebody looking at the number and asking, well, who put that there? Most people run with it and they automatically make their own assumptions. They claim their own truth with it without actually considering what the truth of it is. They assume, in other words, that it's subjective. And you know what this reminds me of is, I'm not sure how many people have heard of this argument for basically religious pluralism, which is that all religions and all beliefs lead to God, and they all basically teach the same thing. The example used is an elephant. The picture goes that there's 5 blind men that walk up to an elephant and they're touching different parts of the elephant. One man puts his hand on the ear and he says, oh, this is a sail. Another one touches the trunk of the nose and says, oh, wow, this is a hose. Another one touches another part of the elephant, say his leg, and says, oh, this is like a tree trunk. So the purpose of that story is that, wow, there must be so many different ways that we can describe reality and describe truth. And just because one person says one thing that's different from the rest doesn't mean it's not all the same. And even that is a really bad example because it's not a sail, it's not a tree trunk, it's not a hose, it's not what these people say it is. They're wrong, in other words, because that's actually still an elephant. Their interpretation is incorrect. So these types of examples to show that truth is fluid, that we really do live in this relativistic universe where our truth is different from somebody else's truth, fall apart because what's true and what counts as truth is what corresponds to reality. In reality, they're touching an elephant. In reality, that is really either a 6 or a 9. It cannot be both. However, The next question put forth by my beautiful, wonderful, brilliant, amazing friend, you know who you are, is that what if it was their intention to put forth this type of dilemma? And I thought that's a brilliant question. Even that has to be considered about what the intent of the creator was. If they were creating a 6 or a 9, that's different. But if they were creating it in order to confuse, then that intent still needs to be considered. If the person creating the number meant to confuse you, then the outcome is supposed to be subjective. So it all boils down to the intent of the person who's creating the image. And this could just be about anything. This could be with a piece of art. This could be things in our culture and in our society. Things that we talk about, things that we express. In other words, sometimes things are created to be subjective. That's the point. But then there's other things that are objectively true that you cannot change. That's still a 6 or a 9, and that is still an elephant. So back to the point of this actual meme. It's a relativistic type of argument, saying just because you're right doesn't mean that I'm wrong, which is ironically wrong. Because in this case, you cannot have both be correct at the same time. Which brings us into the whole argument of religious pluralism, of Jesus himself saying that he's the way, the truth, and the life. You cannot have two things that contradict each other be true at the same time. The only reason why people are doing that is because there has to be some sort of incentive to tolerate and coexist in such a way. Usually that's a social incentive. People don't want to be disliked. People don't want to be seen as intolerant. So there's a social pressure there. But at the end of the day, you can never escape what is actually true. And that is what is wrong with this meme. I can't believe that I looked at something like this so long ago and thought, wow, this is so amazing. This is so philosophical and profound. And I just find it so much more intellectually stimulating to accept the fact that truth exists. And it makes you a little bit more sane as well, even if it makes you disliked. So I might be a little behind the times on my critique of this meme, but it was a very interesting conversation I had with my friends, and I thought I would make a short video about it because truth is cool. Friends don't let other friends believe in subjective reality. I just want to be a good friend. I'm just trying to be a pal. I'm just trying to make truth true again. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments and be sure to check out the description.